live. Awesome, we are live. Okay. Guys, welcome back to the Daily Live. It's awesome Friday morning here. And for those of you that haven't joined us before, welcome. Hope you enjoy it. Let's just give you a bit of a rundown of what the daily is about. The daily is a prehab exercise prescription. Okay, so we shoot out daily workouts for you to prevent injuries and optimize your movement. Okay, so let's get started. Let's tackle this thing. Okay, so we're going to go into shoulder flexion dynamic stretch. Okay, so usually we start off with a bit of a warm-up section, like a little primer, okay, of 3 exercises. It's the shoulder flexion dynamic stretch for 30 seconds. We're going to lunge and twist for another 30 seconds, and then 30 seconds of good mornings with a PVC pipe, which I'll demonstrate now. Okay, then you repeat that for 3 rounds, and then we'll be done with that primer section. So just to take you through the shoulder flexion dynamic stretch, you need a box or a step or a chair or anything that's somewhat elevated from the ground. Okay, just not too high. So for example, if you're sitting on your heels like this, it shouldn't be higher than shoulder height. Okay, try to find something that's anything from here and down. So I'm using this step, as you can see. You're going to take the knees apart. Okay, so I don't know if you know what the child's pose is. Very similar positioning, toes together, knees apart, and then we're going to try to sit back with the hips. But we're first going to place our hands on the step or box. So as we do that, we take those hips back and try to sit down onto the heels, and then we're going to push our chest down towards the ground. Okay, and then we make our way back up again. So we're not going to hold it, we're working in and out of that range. Okay, for 30 seconds. When we are done with that, we're going to go into that lunge and twist. Okay, so for the lunge and twist, you're going to take a nice big step forward and you're going to go straight down. Okay, I don't want you to lean too far forward into that front leg. Also, note, for the 30 seconds, I don't want you to focus too much on reps. I want you to focus on range of motion. So once you drop that knee, you're going to rotate as far as you can to the side of the foreleg. You're going to return back to center, step it back up, and then alternate onto the other side. Then you rotate to the side of the foreleg, come back to the center, stand back up. Okay? You're going to repeat that for 30 seconds. Then from there, we're going to go into the good mornings with the PVC or dowel. Here's my dowel. So if you don't have a dowel or PVC pipe, you can use a broomstick for this as well. It doesn't matter as long as it's solid and it has a decent length, maybe about 1 meter or so. Should work. Place it onto your shoulders or onto your traps. Shouldn't be on a neck bone. That might get a bit uncomfortable. Then from there, feet are about hip width distance apart. Keep the legs locked straight and you're going to send your hips back. Okay? You're going to stop at the point where you feel a nice intense stretch in the hamstrings. Alright? I don't want you to go further than that because it might compromise your back. Alright? You might start rounding that lower back. Rather go down until you feel that intense stretch and you make your way back up again. And obviously, as the tension starts easing, you should be able to go just a little bit further. Alright? So that is the good mornings. And just to recap on that first section, it's 30 seconds each movement and you repeat it for 3 rounds. Alright? Now we move on to our mobility part. So we've got 2 static stretches now. We've got the wall push calf stretch, we've got the pigeon pose. The wall push calf stretch, we're going to do 1 minute per leg. So you're going to find yourself a wall or anything that's upright and won't fall over if you push against it. You're going to take your foot back, okay, to the point where your heel is just slightly off the ground with an extended leg. You're going to push into the wall to try get that heel to the ground, and you're going to hold that position for 1 minute. You should feel a nice stretch at the top part here in the belly of the calf muscle. Alright? And then you change sides, 1 minute on the other side as well. Then from there you're going to go into a pigeon pose. Now the pigeon pose might be difficult for some people. That's fine. There are alternatives to it which I will show you now. But just to show you the pigeon pose, so I like to go into a deep lunge, drop that back knee, bring this leg across, and then take this knee down to the ground. You want to try keep a nice perpendicular or 90-degree angle here with the knee, and then from there you take this back leg back. Okay, so you send that leg backwards. You should feel a nice intense stretch in the glutes of the foreleg. Alright? If you cannot perform this, or if you feel quite a tension in the knee, you've got a bit of a knee niggle, you can ease that up by bringing this knee back a little bit. You should still feel it in your glutes at this point. You might even be feeling a little bit in your inner thigh, that's okay. But if this position is something you just cannot get into, it puts too much strain on your joints, that's fine. There's an alternative. You can actually sit. This is called long sitting. You're going to bring one leg over, you're going to plant that foot on the other side, bring both arms around and hug your knee. Okay? You should feel quite a stretch in the glute here as well. It's not as intense as the pigeon pose, but it does a very similar job. Okay? And it's less intensive. That you're going to do for 2 minutes on each side. And then from there, to finish up, we've got the dumbbell overhead walking lunge and high knees. So overhead walking lunge, you don't have to use dumbbells if you don't have. Okay, don't let that stop you from doing this. You can use kettlebells, you can use your dowel that you have for the good mornings as well. It's completely fine. It's not really the weight that we are looking for, it's more the positioning and the movement that we're working through, the ranges that we're working through. That's the most important part of this. Okay? So we're going to do the dumbbell overhead or the overhead walking lunge for 30 seconds. Okay? So you're going to take whatever you have overhead and you are going to perform walking lunges with whatever it is above your head. Okay? Just watch out if you are struggling with a bit of shoulder mobility. What I don't want you to be doing is hyperextending to get whatever it is in your midline, because obviously if it is a little bit weighted and you are straight and you have shoulder, or you lack a little bit of shoulder mobility, keeping that weight that's a little bit in front of you is not going to be easy. So what I suggest is rather use something like a broomstick for now, just to simulate something above your head. Okay? So you're going to perform the overhead walking lunge for 30 seconds, and then you're going to go straight into 30 seconds of high knees. Okay? So for the high knees, what I want you to do is get that knee above the hip crease. Okay? That is considered a high knee. Anything below that, a jog. Okay? However, I want you to go as high as you can. Okay? So not everyone might have that hip mobility to be able to get it up there. It's completely fine. If you cannot do the intensity that we wanted, so like the consecutive running, completely fine. Just in place, work on marching. Okay? So that is a regression from the high knees. But if you can go for it, go for it. Okay? So it's 30 seconds of overhead walking lunge, 30 seconds of high knees for 4 rounds. That's 4 rounds of that. Once you've done 4 rounds of that, you are done with the daily for today. You should be ready to go into a main workout. Okay, we've got something planned for you guys that is coming soon, but keep your eyes and ears open for that. In the meantime, you can go do some squats and pull-ups or whatever you desire after this. Okay. If you guys have any questions for us, please feel free to comment below. Yeah.